Let's do this.
If you think urban areas are disaster-proof, think again. Today we'll unpack why analog nostalgia may not save you, and why satellites just may be your new best friends, especially during Mother Nature's trauma tantrums. That's coming up next on this episode of TiPS, Today in Public Safety.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories in public safety news. Here's your host, Fletch, with today's tips.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch. I'm an ENP and I'm Vice President of Public Safety Solutions at 911 Inform. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I bring you the latest, most informative, and sometimes controversial information on emergency communications. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into developing resilience plans for natural disasters in urban areas, because even city slickers need a backup plan. So let's start with the truth bomb. When planning emergency communications, you absolutely must prioritize resiliency, redundancy, and full diversity. And no, I'm not just talking about your weekend plans. Historically, our go-to was the good old copper-based analog circuit. Why? Well, simple. It worked in rain, snow, or zombie apocalypse. Well, mostly. But you didn't need local power, and anyone with basic skills could handle it. Think of it as the flip phone of emergency communications. Reliable, tough, and embarrassingly basic. But then along came the internet, swaggering into the public safety scene like a flashy new smartphone. Initially, it was complicated, pricey, and could drive a technician to tears faster than you could say reboot. Horror stories of voice over IP made analog seem comfortably boring. Yet despite skepticism, VoIP kept creeping into our tool bag every single day. Now, fast forward to today, and those analog copper circuits are less flip phone reliable and more antique store fragile and collectible. They're expensive, outdated, and about as resilient as your grandma's knitting club during a power outage. As it turns out, digital circuits aren't the villain, and neither is VoIP. They're actually our unexpected heroes. Digital and IP circuits can be monitored, dynamically rerouted, and reconfigured from miles away. Copper? Well, it's like me, just sitting there, aging ungracefully. But here's the real kicker. How do we ensure redundancy when terrestrial circuits inevitably converge on the same physical infrastructure? Well, the answer is easy. Look up. And I'm not talking metaphorically. Low Earth orbit, or LEO satellite networks, are buzzing around above us, providing high-speed data and high reliability from outer space. Sorry about that, new toys. But just think about that for a second. Satellites don't care about your terrestrial troubles. For the most part, tree interference is minimal, and bandwidth is impressively robust, despite the weather. While providers like Starlink lead the pack, there's actually plenty of choices in this cosmic communications buffet. So if your resiliency plan still relies solely on terrestrial tech, you might as well be sending emergency alerts by carrier pigeon. Any critical command and control system worth its salt needs to be looking skyward to satellites for guaranteed uptime, especially when the going gets tough. So urban planners, public safety managers, and IT gurus, ditch your copper nostalgia. Embrace your digital diversity. And take a look at satellite backup. Your future disaster self will thank you. I guarantee it. Right after it finishes laughing at all the skeptics that are left in the dark. That's it for today's episode of TiPS, Today in Public Safety. Thanks so much for listening. For more updates and insights, remember to follow me on most social media platforms at Fletch911 and visit my 911tips.com webpage, where you'll find a complete archive of all of our previous episodes. Stay safe, thanks for listening, and if you're in public safety, thanks for what you do every day. This is Fletch. I'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Catch past episodes on 911tips.com. That's 911tips.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember to join us each week for the latest on NG 911. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. Catch me on Sirius XM on various channels, including 90s on 9, the 10 spot, and on the Weekend Countdown on Hits 1. Or don't regret it for the rest of your life. Either way, I'm good. TiPS is brought to you by 911 Inform, the leading next-generation 911 solution for enterprise compliance with federal 911 regulations. Visit them on the web at 911inform.com. 911 Inform, making every second count when it matters the most.